KFGO News, Fargo-Moorhead, a cloudy sky. It is 11 degrees. I'm Paul Jurgens. A man who fled to Mexico after he failed to appear in court on sex crime charges more than 20 years ago in Moorhead will be allowed to post bond. Curtis Brovold is accused of luring a 14-year-old girl by computer and having sex with her at a Moorhead motel. A judge has set bond for Brovold at $250,000 with conditions or $400,000 without conditions. During the court appearance, a prosecutor said Brovold poses significant public safety and flight concerns. If Brovold is able to post bond, he will have to surrender his passport. Investigators say in early 2000, Brovold communicated with the victim, mostly over the internet, for about 6 months. In July of that year, Brovold flew to Moorhead to meet with the teenage victim. Brovold was arrested outside his home in Cancun on Wednesday afternoon. A Fosston, Minnesota woman suffered severe burns in an apartment fire in Fosston. The Polk County Sheriff's Office's Robin Swanson was pulled from the burning apartment by Fosston fire crews last night. They were assisted by the McIntosh Fire Department. 2 apartments were engulfed when first responders arrived. Swanson was life-flighted to a hospital. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The State Patrol is investigating the traffic death of a 6-year-old girl in central Minnesota. Unique Bolio of Onamia was struck and killed by an SUV on Highway 169 near Onamia last night. She was on the highway when she was hit. The driver of the SUV, a 48-year-old Garrison woman, was not hurt. Bolio died at the scene. Democrats in St. Paul are coming back hard against a plan that Senate Republicans say would ease the shortage of nurses in Minnesota, allowing licensed nurses from certain other states to immediately work in Minnesota, which they say would relieve pressure on hospitals and other care facilities. House Speaker, Democrat Melissa Hortman contends that Republicans' real intent
was a callous political move to try to just take a strike at the nurses' union. And we see right through that, and the governor sees right through that.
Governor Walz wants to bring in nurses from a national staffing agency for 60 days to ease the crunch. The Minnesota Nurses Association says it does not oppose it, but a longer-term solution is needed. Fargo-Moorhead, mostly cloudy this afternoon. Temperatures have been falling as forecast by meteorologist Tom Shemansky. Decreasing clouds, wind 10 below overnight, a light and variable wind. Tomorrow, maybe some blowing snow, partly sunny. Blowing snow perhaps in the afternoon, high of 12. Mostly cloudy, areas of blowing snow tomorrow night, then rising temperatures. Mostly cloudy Sunday, some blowing snow, 28. Fargo-Moorhead, we picked up just over 2.6 inches of snow at our KFGO studios. Now mostly cloudy, 11. Paul Jurgens, News Radio, KFGO.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out. Right. And just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. When we're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night. Got out of the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11, and volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page, and send us a text anytime at 35270.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek Hansen, Couch Potato Radio. Did you see that
from It Takes Two.
Doug Miller with the morning crew this morning.
News Radio.
Amy Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voice of Sports.
Too tall.
Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah
7.
Heinrich.
Tyler Axis, your host.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
So today on the MSUM campus, we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page. And send us a text anytime at 35270.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek
Mighty
Hansen, Couch
790.
Potato Radio. Did you see that
from It Takes Two.
Doug Miller with the morning crew this morning.
Jerkins News Radio.
Amy Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Force.
Two tall tops,
Joel
man.
Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Access, your home.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
So today on MSUM campus we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it.
Mostly cloudy. It's 11 degrees. I'm Paul Jerkins. A man who fled to Mexico after he failed to appear in court on sex crime charges more than 20 years ago in Moorhead will be allowed to post bail. Curtis Brovold is accused of luring a 14-year-old girl by computer and having sex with her at a Moorhead motel. A judge has set bond for Brovold at $250,000 with conditions, or $400,000 without any conditions. Investigators say in early 2000, Brovold communicated with the victim, mostly over the internet, for about 6 months. In July of that year, Brovold flew to Moorhead to meet with the teenage victim. Brovold was arrested outside his home in Cancun on Wednesday afternoon. A funeral service has been held at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Moorhead for the 5 members of a Moorhead family and 2 relatives who died of apparent carbon monoxide poisoning last month. The family moved to Moorhead to escape the unrest in their home country of Honduras.
It's pretty difficult knowing the 2 children, los hermanitos, brothers that share, and now they're in...
Conocer a esta familia tan hermosa, tan joven.
Knowing this family too young, beautiful, but we need to continue in our lives, even though that is difficult, but we need to continue.
Y es dura.
The Hernandez Pinto family died in their South Moorhead twin home on December 18th. They ranged in age from 5 to 37. The source of the carbon monoxide was either the home's furnace or a car battery that may have given off a toxic gas. An out-of-state lab is working to determine the source of the poisonous gas. 11 degrees. This is KFGO News. "11 degrees, you're listening to KFGO News. Citing a trend in a lack of ethical behavior, North Dakota's Education Standards and Practices Board has voted unanimously to suspend the teaching license of former Williston High School teacher Lanny Gabbert. The board ruled that Gabbert's teaching license would be suspended until July 31st, mandating that he complete courses in ethics, classroom management, and curriculum instruction and assessment. The decision follows board investigations of Gabbert in the last 3 school districts where he worked. Over the course of 1 year, Gabbert resigned from the Williston, Alexander, and Ray school districts, all of which cited inappropriate behavior. Reporter Adam Carter says the University of Minnesota will soon put a COVID vaccine mandate in place for indoor events.
It's effective January 26th. The U will require proof of vaccination or a 72-hour negative test to enter an indoor event of 200 or more people at all University of Minnesota campuses statewide. That includes sporting events, performances, and special lectures. It does not affect dining halls or regular academic instruction. The vaccine requirement will be in place through at least February 9th.
The South Dakota Legislative Committee has approved a bill pushed by Governor Noem to ban transgender women and girls from participating in school sports leagues that match their gender identity. The governor has aggressively promoted the bill this year. It received approval in the Republican-dominated Senate State Affairs Committee, clearing a legislative hurdle that has been a tricky roadblock to similar South Dakota bills in the past. Every Republican on the committee approved the bill, despite warnings from opponents that it alienates and bullies transgender students. They contend it exposes schools to legal action from a political cause that has not been an issue in South Dakota. Minnesota Power has been ordered to issue refunds to its customers affected by an outage in northeastern Minnesota. The utility must pay $4.5 million after a steam pipe rupture shut down a power plant in Cohasset for more than 50 days in 2019. A judge ruled that the failure could have been avoided if Minnesota Power inspected the pipeline more often. The judge said the lack of inspections was inconsistent with good utility practice. Fargo-Moorhead, a mostly cloudy afternoon. Temperatures are slowly falling. We're at 11 degrees now. We picked up 2.6 inches of snow at our KFGO studios. 2.5 to around 3 inches, a common around the metro area. Decreasing clouds, wind dying down tonight, 10 below. Tomorrow, partly sunny, some blowing snow expected in the afternoon. Meteorologist Tom Szymanski is expecting 12. Mostly cloudy, breezy tomorrow night. Again, areas of blowing snow. Mostly cloudy Sunday, some blowing snow, and 28. Fargo-Moorhead, cloudy and 11 degrees. Paul Juergens, News Radio, KFGO.
We're going to have a conversation in a moment because Hansen, do you call it a brother band? Do you call it a boy band?
They're brothers, yeah.
Well, I know they're brothers, but would you call them?
Hold on, we got to see if Rusty can hit this note.
Take on me.
Take on me. They'll get it.
I'll stop there.
Here it is.
Here it is. Okay. What a great song.
Yeah,
great video, too. Breakthrough video.
It is one of a kind.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a conversation because I say that Hansen is going to be in Fargo as a one-hit wonder. But they've got a concert, people are going to go to it, and I don't fault them. That's fine.
How old are those dudes now?
I got to put them in their 40s.
I would think so. I mean, the youngest one maybe late 30s, maybe my age-ish.
Yeah, because you're 37, I'm 35, and they were making their one-hit wonder while I was still young.
Yeah, I want to say I was
a whole lot older than me.
7th or 8th grader when Mbop came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, the youngest one might have been similar age to us.
I bet you I'll give him 3 on me. I'll put him at 38. You do the Google back there.
I will.
So Rusty Halverson decided that Aha would be his one-hit wonder. You'd go to the cons with one of your faves, huh?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Great song. Great video.
It is. So that's where you would go. Okay, yep. I've got to figure out what one-hit wonder band I would want to go to see in concert.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a conversation we have here. I do want to throw this out here because I started off the show griping, complaining, whining, whatever you want to put it, about the fact that you had places closed down based on weather predictions that were so far off. Not because of anybody in this building. I think Szymanski nailed it. But here's the one. We really got into K through 12. It's NDSU. NDSU closed. So, fellas, I mean, you went to NDSU. I went to NDSU.
Yes, sir.
Today is one of those days that we would have been going to see Eric Johnson slinging drinks at Chubb's. I bet you places like that, because you got 3 inches of snow, I bet you the college students were out. They were having fun today.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, I remember, waiting for calling, watching TV, waiting. Are we going to have class? Are we not going to have class?
Yeah.
Things are different these days.
The thing with college back in our day is they were going to have class. It was up to you whether or not you were showing up.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
anyway, that's not why I called you in here. I wanted some agriculture news.
Sure.
What do you got for me?
Well, the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative and USDA recently announcing that after many years of negotiations, U.S. pork now eligible for export to the market in India. U.S. Meat Export Federation Representative Monty Brown conducting market research in that country, meeting with potential buyers and identifying opportunities in the retail and food service sectors.
The companies we met with were interested in U.S. pork, primarily bone-in cuts, if they could get them, I think because labor's cheaper there. And the products that really excited them was pork carcasses and bellies. They really will be interested in a 6-piece bone-in carcass. I know that lots of times the U.S. industry may frown upon producing this product, but it's ought to be something we should look at today, especially with our labor problems, labor issues in the packing plants.
Okay, so a couple of items that stick out to me in that audio clip. The labor problems we have in U.S. packing plants, the cost of labor in India. They would rather have carcasses shipped over there and cut them up themselves. Okay, that's issue number one. Issue number two, do we have the refrigerated containers to do such a thing?
Yeah, containers are high demand these days.
Exactly.
In fact, some of them are so full, sitting out in the sea somewhere still.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So a couple of items there to keep in mind. And you talk about the primal cuts of pork, and it's been one of our topics this week. You know, you've got your picnic shoulders in the carcass. You've got your pork butt, which is kind of a misnomer because it's actually part of the neck, shoulder blade, upper arm of the pig. You've got your pork loins, hams, pork sides, pork bellies, bacon, that kind of thing. The spare ribs, popular, obviously. And then you've also got pork jowls and pig's feet, pork feet. There it is.
India's going on the pig's feet train.
They are.
The pickled? Do you assume they do the pickled over there?
I wonder. That's a great question.
Or do they put some type of curry on it?
Ooh, they could be spicy.
Spicy pig feet? I'd give you a pickled pig foot. Only doing one. Okay, so they want to get in on that action.
Yeah, but they really are into the bone-in products, especially loins, ribs, and again, bacon. Everybody loves bacon.
Well, yeah, who could argue that?
Yep.
If you missed the conversation earlier this week, Rusty and I had an in-depth conversation about pickled pig's feet. So that's why I'm excited about this. Okay, India wants in on that as well. Very good, man.
International news headlines.
There it is.
I've got an answer for you guys.
Oh, about the Hansen's age?
The oldest, 41. That is Isaac.
That's not a good sign for the youngest.
The middle, which is Taylor, 38.
The middle one's 38?
Yep, youngest Zach is 35.
Huh.
35?
Nope.
Well,
really?
Same age as you. You could have been a Hansen.
God, if I just would have worked on these vocals a little bit. Had I learned the instrument of the Winwoods.
Woodwinds.
Rusty, you come back next hour?
Absolutely.
Very good. I'll save that spot for you. Rusty Halverson, him, Sarah Heinrich, multi-award winning egg journalist. You can go to kfgo.com. You can click on more there to learn. Messages coming in about school cancellations and what one-hit wonder, what's the band that you would go to see in concert. We're going to talk about Hansen coming to Fargo as our reasoning to figure out who you going to see. They had one hit. You got to go through every other song that they had on however many albums they had, just for that one hit. Who was it for you? We'll have that conversation after this. CBS National News.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out, and just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just giving the greatest good. We're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night. Got out of the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. You know, that's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11, and volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
Roberson here with another News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek
Mighty
Hansen, Couch
790.
Potato Radio. Did you see that
from It Takes Two.
Doug here with the morning crew this morning. News Radio.
Amy Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Force.
Too tall,
Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Access, your home.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page. And send us a text anytime at 35270.
So today on MSUM campus we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
You got to let it get to the
I'm
hook.
going to, as much as it pains me to. What year did this come out?
97 or 8?
Coming to Fargo. Get your tickets. So,
yeah, April 15th, 1997.
Okay, but here's my thing. These are young boys singing mbop.
Yep.
How do you think it sounds now when they're grown men?
You think that
The
they
youngest
might
being
not be able to
35.
hit quite those notes again?
Yeah. I'm not going to try it right now.
How many times have these three played this song?
Yeah, so you've all been to, or I shouldn't assume that. A lot of you have been to concerts. A lot of them have encores, right? And then they save their hit songs for the encore, which is something that always annoys me, but I'm always excited when it happens. So I'm kind of a hypocrite in that sense. I mean, if you're Hansen, you don't save that for the encore for the last song, do you? I mean, you.
But if you don't, you risk losing half the crowd.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, they have new music out. I do assume they're still out there making records, not hits. They're a one-hit wonder, in my opinion. And I think I'd be kind of based on fact. I don't know if they had any other top 10 hits.
Yeah,
Is that what we base what a hit is on? If you crack the top 10, that's gonna be how we categorize it. So if the Hansen brothers got another top 10 hit, then they're not a one-hit wonder. I just only know the one song, and that was enough for me. Now to find out that the youngest is exactly my age is a whole other thing that rocked my world. But they're going to be, and I'm encouraging. I bet you it's fun. I bet you they have a fun way of embracing this song and the fact that the show going. Could you imagine playing with your two older brothers though for all that time? They have, maybe they took a break. I have no idea, but you can get your tickets, of course, and they're $40. Not bad at all. Fargo Brewing Outdoors. It'll be August 20th. But I want to use this because I'm still going to, in my mind, they are forever a one-hit wonder until you prove me wrong at 35270, which, of course, is the Eye Consultants of North Dakota. You can call me, Laney Studio Line at 237-5948. For all of you listening, so there's going to be a lot of people that are excited to go to this, I assume. In fact, I got Tyler, my daughters are young 30s. They can't wait. See, there you go. There are people like that, and this is going to be going to a band. They're going to watch all of the songs. Maybe you've heard it. Maybe that one hit just gripped you to that band, and maybe you've gone through their entire catalog. But for all those one-hit wonders, if you had to pick one band that had a one-hit, you're saying, you know what, I would sit through a concert to hear the rest of their songs that I've likely never heard before, just because based on that one hit. I'm curious who it would be for you. Here's what's been coming in our text club. Georgia Satellites. Yep. I couldn't remember exactly what song that was. We gave it a little taste. We'll play it for you a little bit later on. Magic by Pilot comes in. Great one-hit wonder. That's from our buddy down in South. Appreciate that one. Kansas. Kansas is not a one-hit wonder.
No.
I would love to go to a Kansas concert, period. But thanks for sending that one. We just heard from Rusty that he's going to Aha because of Take On Me. I struggled with this. I went through a bunch of lists to try to figure out exactly who it would be for me, and I'm not necessarily sure that I'm sold on who it. I have to feel out the vibe, but if I had to pick just one, Norman Greenbaum, because he had Spirit in the Sky, and so you get that 60s vibe going. I think I could get on board with that. Now, if there is like a classic rock feel out there of a band that is not Kansas, because Kansas is not a one-hit wonder, I'd be open to changing who I would purchase the ticket for that is a one-hit wonder. Some of the others that are on this list, there are certainly one. The Knack, My Sharona. Yeah. That was the other one that I was trying to figure out. I would go to the Knack as well. 7 Mary 3 comes in. Okay, some cumbersome.
For the longtime listeners, my choice is going to be Steve Earle. You remember you accusing them of being a one-hit wonder,
I did.
even though they are not.
Why it stings that you bring that up.
No, but seriously, this one's a little bit of a cop-out. Blind Melon, their lead singer passed away. That's why they were a one-hit wonder.
Correct.
So that one, but Semisonic, local band, I think that would be a good show. I've heard some of their other music.
For just your closing scene. Now, that's the song you do say for the encore, the last song, because it's closing time, and it just makes perfect sense. The Proclaimers, I'm going to be 500 miles. Okay. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to pass judgment. You send them in while we wait for those. We'll get you this weather update from Untitled Tom Schmassy. The best meteorologist, the most accurate, the one that doesn't BS you on what you can expect in the system. So take it from him. He's going to get you this weather update. Then we'll wrap up the first hour of Afternoons Live Friday afternoon next.
Roberson here with another News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Dear
Mighty
Kansas
790
Couch Potato Radio. Did you see that from It Takes Two? Doug here with the morning crew this morning. News Radio.
Amy Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Forces. Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Access, your home.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out, and just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. We're going until the food is out. is people are coming in. If they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night, the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11, and volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
So today on MSUM campus, we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page, and send us a text anytime at 35270.
Abby Halverson here with another Don News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek
Mighty
Hansen, Couch
790.
Potato Radio. Did you see that from It Takes Two? Doug here with the morning crew this morning. News Radio.
Katie Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Forces.
Too tall,
Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Axis, your host.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page. And send us a text anytime at 35270.
So today on MSUM campus we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out, and just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. When we're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night. The hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11. And volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
KFGO time is 3:05. Here's what is happening on this date. Today, Foo Fighter frontman, drummer, Nirvana, birthday, 53 years old, to Dave Grohl. If you're a regular listener, you know I'm a Foo Fighters fanatic. Somebody I've seen multiple times at concert. I'm hoping to get down to U.S. Bank and see them. Fingers crossed, everything going the way it is. It's a big question mark. That along with, are we ever going to see Rage Against the Machine down in Sioux Falls?
I think it's still on the books for May, but I could be wrong about that.
So it's Dave Grohl's birthday today. Happy birthday, Dave. Also, Carl Weathers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's his birthday today. I have no idea how old Carl Weathers is. Derek, because of the shoulder shrug.
You got to be in his 60s or 70s,
I would
right?
imagine so. Derek Hansen will be joining us in our next conversation. So, of all the characters, I mean, Apollo Creed's got to be top notch for him, right? Yeah, I mean, that you got Predator. He's Chubbs in.
Yeah, I mean, Chubbs in Happy Gilmore is a huge
you
one.
give me he's Apollo Creed.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, there you have it. Those are some of the birthdays today. Here's also what happened on this date. Just 3 years ago, the Minneapolis Miracle happened. We're going to talk about the greatest sports moment for your team when we come back from this KFGO News. Stick around.
KFGO News, Fargo-Moorhead, 10 degrees, a cloudy sky. I'm Paul Jurgens. A man who left the country after he was charged with sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl in Moorhead 21 years ago is in the Clay County Jail after his arrest outside his home in Cancun, Mexico this week. 67-year-old Curtis Brovold will be allowed to post bond of either $250,000 with conditions or $400,000 without restrictions. He would be forced to give up his passport. Brovold was arrested by the FBI. Prosecutors say he met the victim online and flew to Moorhead, where he had sex with a girl at a motel. The 7 people who died of carbon monoxide poisoning in a Moorhead home last month have been remembered at a funeral service at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Moorhead. The Hernandez Pinto family, natives of Honduras, were found dead in a townhome on December 18th. They ranged in age from 5 to 37. The source of the carbon monoxide was the furnace or a car parked in the garage with a dead battery. The 3 children attended Reinertson Elementary School and Moorhead High School. A Foston, Minnesota woman suffered severe burns in an apartment fire in Foston last night. The Polk County Sheriff's Department says Robin Swanson was pulled from the burning apartment by Foston fire crews. They were assisted by McIntosh. 2 apartments were engulfed when first responders got to the scene. Swanson was life-flighted to a hospital. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The president of the University of North Dakota is again defending the school's draft gender inclusion policy. Andy Armacost says the intent is to align the school with existing federal and state laws and policies to better protect LGBTQ students from harassment and discrimination. Armacost's presentation came after widespread criticism from state lawmakers, North Dakota's 2 Roman Catholic bishops, and Grand Forks Mayor Brandon Bushinsky. The policy, as written, would require the use of a transgender person's preferred pronouns and the use of locker rooms, bathrooms, and other living arrangements that align with a person's gender identity. A judge has granted a temporary restraining order to keep a Twin Cities hospital from removing a COVID-19 patient from life support. The ruling by Anoka County Judge Jennifer Stanfield stops doctors at Mercy Hospital in Coon Rapids from taking Scott Quiner off a ventilator. The order was issued after Quiner's wife told the court she vehemently disagreed with the doctor's decision. Scott Quiner had been transferred to the hospital's ICU November 6th. His wife says she is trying to find a different hospital to treat her husband, but she needs more time. Fargo-Moorhead, decreasing clouds, wind tapering off tonight, and about 10 below. For the overnight low, tomorrow partly sunny. Wind picks up in the afternoon out of the south, some blowing snow then, and 12. Tomorrow night, blowing snow, rising temperatures, mostly cloudy Sunday, blowing snow is expected, high of 28. 24, mostly cloudy on Monday, a chance of light snow by Tuesday, and 19. Fargo-Moorhead, it is cloudy and 10. Paul Jurgens, News Radio, KFGO.
Now, coming from somebody that's not necessarily a Vikings fan, I still get goosebumps hearing that play call that happened 4 years ago today. Minneapolis Miracle over the New Orleans Saints.
Pete Burstich might have clomped all over a PA's call of that.
Stay in bounds.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But the thing is, I was one of those, get out of bounds. I was totally one of those guys when I was
Well,
watching.
when I realized there wasn't anyone to go catch him, I was very happy it happened because the Vikings likely had missed the field goals. So I was pretty happy at the time that they actually worked that out.
But, this was one of those things where we were at a gathering at a place where we typically watch football. Bar none, I'll just say it. And the significant other, big Vikings fan. I'm surprised the fingerprints aren't still on like my arm shoulder of the intensity of, what's going on. And then to look down the rail and see everyone else either celebrating or sitting in just complete shock about what happened. It's just phenomenal.
That's one of the fun things about YouTube. Have you ever seen the contrast? They'll show like people at New Orleans bars or whatever, and how shocked they were. And then, of course, one of my favorite shots was there was a Wild game that Sunday night.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And the players said it was so weird because they were actually warming up, and there's no one in there yet.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden they heard this roar in the concourse because all the TVs were on the Vikings Saints game, and that's what happened there. I was watching with my parents because I went ice fishing in the morning, so I was just kind of relaxing. So I go back to my parents' house and I watched it, and I was jumping around their house. It was unreal.
It was exciting. Now, let's see with my producer, Eric Johnson. Where were you when this once-in-a-lifetime moment happened in all of sports?
So at the time, I was curling on Sundays. And we were at the FM Curling Club over by the zoo there. And they've got a great bar up above all the curling sheets. And we're all kind of huddled around their TVs up there watching. And we had to get going. And it looked like this was going to be a classic Minnesota Vikings playoff end. So we start going, and everybody left up there. We could hear through the glass and down a story while we're on the ice. So we're scrambling to check our phones. So I got to watch replays of it. Nothing live.
Wow.
I know. Sorry, man.
That was okay.
Decisions. Well,
worse than that, how would you like to have been the people
that left the stadium?
Mm-hmm.
I know. I could not imagine.
And I've heard about a few. I think someone we had this conversation. I remember it happening, and people texted in and said, "Yeah, we thought it was over, so we just wanted to beat the traffic." How'd that work out?
So watching or listening to like PA, or it was Joel Buck and Troy Aikman, I believe, on the television.
I think Harlan did the Westwood one, which was really good too.
Okay, I don't remember. And Kevin Harlan is.
I have that somewhere. I'll maybe find it for you.
Yeah. Him and PA, but to hear it from on the field, because there's somebody in that end zone with their camera watching it from afar as Diggs is running towards you.
Yes.
And it sounds like a jet engine just took off in U.S. Bank Stadium, like just incredibly loud. This has got to be the greatest play in Vikings history.
Well, I think if you're old enough, you remember to get into the playoffs, Tommy Kramer to Ahmad Rashad Hail Mary was one of the more unbelievable plays that you'll ever remember. But that's 1980, I think that was when that was. But that was quite a moment. We were listening to that. I had a Christmas program that we had at church, so we're listening to it. I'll never forget that. So we're on I-94 because we lived on a farmstead at the time, 6 miles outside of Barnesville. And so we're listening to it, and we're cheering in the car after Kramer threw it to Rashad. And we looked over, and there's a truck driver and his passenger, and they're bouncing up and down the truck. So it's the same thing. So you knew that they were listening to the game at the same time. So, that's pretty close. And I don't remember, because the Vikings, they just kind of dominated until it got to the Super Bowl 4 times, and they had some good playoff games. And maybe some 70s, 60s people could remind us of some great moments like that. But those are the two that really stick out for me.
Yeah, see, and I don't recall that one. Obviously. But yeah, this one, it's top 5 just period almost in the NFL.
You have to get out of bounds. There's no way you can get the ball spiked.
It's 3rd down and 10.
Kevin Harlan's so good.
Keenum is in the gun from his 39. 4-man front, 6 in the secondary. Shotgun snap. He moves up. He throws a long line drive on the near side. Leaping to end. Catch made. It's made by, oh my goodness. It's going to go in for the touchdown. Grab by Diggs. He broke a tackle. 61-yard touchdown throw. The Vikings have won. The Minnesota Vikings have won.
I can't believe what I just saw, Kevin. I cannot believe.
You and everyone else that was had their eyes
Trent
glued.
Green on the color in that one.
Trent Green. It's just you can't.
He didn't really break a tackle. Marcus Williams just went and ran through him.
And he will be forever remembered for that.
Yeah, no,
you
no
you
doubt.
almost feel bad for that kid.
I felt bad from that week. He got screwed.
I remember people that don't play close enough attention. Is that our Marcus Williams?
No,
it's not from NDSU.
The safety, it was not a good moment for him whatsoever. No, I mean, you think about even if we go down to Minnesota sports history, right? It's up there. I mean, because Kirby Puckett Game 6, 1991 is pretty good.
Yeah, that has to be.
Because just the drama with that, I remember being in, it was after I was a freshman in college, and we all went to my parents' basement, as we did a lot to watch movies and stuff. But we watched Game 6, and because we were back home, because we had a playoff game in our hometown. So the guys that I played with that were a year younger than me, we wanted to see them and cheer them on that playoff game. So we went from sadness and overtime loss, Otter Tail Central, into happiness with Kirby Puckett, taking it to Game 7. And, obviously winning the 2 World Series, Game 7s of both. I remember that very well, 87 and 91. But that was one of those things. I'm trying to think of what else there would be, because, I mean, that's kind of sad because you're not thinking of many moments, right? Because
one thing I have been seeing online now with all of my Vikings friends, like, so on this date 4 years ago was the last time I've been filled with actual pure joy as a Vikings fan.
Well, the worst part about it is then you're starting to think you're a team of destiny, right?
Yep, they're going on to Philadelphia.
Yeah, and you're thinking everything's good, and then the first drive, Case Keenum takes it all the way down. Man, it was just easy.
Great, yep.
Hot knife through butter against Philadelphia, and then the wheels came off in a quick hurry. Yeah.
Tyler, I will always remember that Vikings game. The boys and I watch till the end. My husband gave up on them and went into the kitchen and missed it. Oh no, there's so many stories like that.
Oh, yeah. I remember, she's going to probably kill me for saying this, but I remember, didn't Callie Muslin, Joel's former producer, she went and she did a Facebook Live and she was in tears. She was so elated. Yep. I was just like, okay, we still got to win next week. And you always got to wonder, if you and I were talking about this earlier, if the Vikings would have blew that game against your Carolina Panthers that we watched at Joel's house. A bunch of the staff did.
Emotions are running high. I took a cheese curd
when
to the
Tyler got
eyeball.
assaulted by said producer.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She threw a cheese curd. It was because I think Cam Newton just went and ran a big run, and all of a sudden I'm watching, I'm cheering. I'm not even kidding. This was one of those refrigerator cheese curds, and I'm glad that my eye just happened to be closed at the time, else I'd be having an eye patch right now.
So he had that, and of course Carson, he won the game against the Rams, and then he got hurt, but that diving touchdown actually probably helped them a little bit. You just wonder what that game would have been like at US Bank Stadium.
Yeah, totally different.
Zimmer really got out coached in that game though too.
Yep.
So
and then,
we know that Joel wouldn't have gotten assaulted at US Bank Stadium probably.
That is true.
Save some money on airplane tickets.
Every team's got a moment that they will not reach that. I'm trying to think, like, for said Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
It had to be that 2004 playoff stretch. You have Jake Delhomme, and we're in overtime against the then it was the St. Louis Rams, and dropped back overtime, and it was over to Steve Smith up the middle, and it was like a 70-yard slant or a post touchdown run. That was probably the loudest I've been watching a Panthers game.
I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, it's hard to believe 4 years ago already.
I know 4, and I said 3 because I forget about. Oh yeah, it's 2022. Oh,
that was January of 18. Yeah, unbelievable.
Well, just crazy. And, it's something 4 years later. Again, me didn't have a dog in the fight to still kind of get goosebumps.
Oh, for sure. Well, we beat your Saints.
That helped a lot, especially with Sean Payton. Remember, he was doing the skull. He was doing the arrogance.
Yeah, that didn't work out. That did not age well.
See, now that's maybe why I enjoyed just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Can you believe they made a Sean Payton movie on Netflix?
I've heard that they did. I don't.
Yeah, and who was the guy from King of Queens?
He's playing Sean Payton?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Kevin James.
Playing Sean Payton. Of all the coaches,
if you're Sean Payton, you don't necessarily want to be.
Yeah, are you flattered?
Like, have you seen the real husband on what is The Blind Side? Have you seen The Real Husband?
The one that Tim McGraw played?
Yeah. He was happy Tim McGraw played.
That's what I was like. Oh, okay.
I mean,
Thank you, Hollywood producer.
Exactly. I mean, because that guy, I mean, he looked more like Buddy the car dealer on Friday Night Lights TV series than he did Tim McGraw.
Derek Hansen, he's hosting Couch Potato Radio. He's coming back in just a little bit. Thanks for coming in and reliving that moment with us, Derek. I got to get you some of these messages when we come back in just a little bit of time. Erica Rapp from FargoUnderground.com is going to be joining us. Brought to you by the Boiler Room. That's $25 and a gift card down there. That's coming up in just a little bit. More messages coming in about school cancellations. I will get to those. And Carl Weathers, again, making an appearance in my text club. I'm Tyler Axis. Stick around.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page. And send us a text anytime at 35270.
Here with another News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek Hansen, Couch Potato Radio. Did you see that?
It Takes Two.
Doug here with the morning crew this morning.
News Radio.
Amy Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Forces.
Too tall.
Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Axis, your host.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
So today on MSUM campus, we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out, and just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. We're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night. The hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it.
Was, according to one of our listeners, the artist that they would go see, that's a one-hit wonder.
It'd be a fun party.
Tongue-in-cheek.
I bet you the crowd would be having a blast, and it would be fun.
Jumping up and down with your smoke machines and glow lights, or is that... Yeah, that would be at the side.
Yeah, I mean, this is dance. You got some EDM elements to it. I don't know how the Korean aspect fits into the music genre. If this is more Korean pop or Korean dance music.
Would not know. Here's one I can get behind, though. Tyler, 1985, Autograph. Turn Up the Radio. Best one-hit wonder to use to use as a bumper song. Correct, and we will. Thanks for sending that suggestion in. I want to get to this message as well. If you missed the first half hour, I was up on my soapbox, which is quite common from time to time here from 2 to 5 on Afternoons Live, about the fact that you had some meteorologists in the area, not ours. I told you, keep listening to Too Tall Tom, because he'll tell you how it is without overhyping it to get a couple shares, a couple views, a couple clicks. Others did the opposite, and quite frankly, I think that's what led to some of these schools deciding to cancel. And I don't think It was, I mean, we had 3 inches in talent here, give or take wherever you're listening to me here. So I take issue with all that. But this message came in, amongst others, to our eye consultants of North Dakota. That's 35270. Tyler, I lived in Colorado Springs for many years, and that's a heavy military populated area. As a PR gesture, there were times when late starts and cancellations occurred at military installations to ease traffic congestion in the community. This allowed snowplows to do their thing with less traffic on the roads. It also allowed small business owners, employees to get to work with less congestion coming in the text club. There's others of which have lost in this text club because I've just got so many of them, so I apologize. I'll try to get to those after we get you caught up with KFGO News. Here's another one that I did find, though. I said there was also Carl Weathers' birthday today, and I said, I mean, he's got to be the best character was Apollo Creed, right? Or Chubb from Happy Gilmore. Somebody says he was best as himself in Arrested Development, which I say that is a noble addition. I can't argue because, one, great that he was playing himself, but Arrested Development and the height of that series. So what, are we talking about seasons 1 through 4? Arrested Development. Yesterday I was talking about shows what you just put on mindlessly to just kind of have, that's kind of how I roll. Arrested Development is one of those that I would add to that whole equation because it's just one of those great things. But then there's a lot of shows that stayed or attempted to stay for about another 3 seasons too long. Arrested Development was certainly one of those. I'm going to get to the phone lines and visit with Mike. Mike, thanks for calling in, man. How are you doing?
Oh, good. I was just going to tell you a quick story. When I was a kid, I was 5 years old. I was living at the Chase Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri, and my dad was the manager there, and they made a movie called Bucktown there, and Carl Weathers was one of the stars of the show. I got to meet him. They were there filming for about 2 weeks. But in the meantime, Carl Weathers was sparring and training to fight. And I said, who are you going to fight? And he said, I'm going to beat up Rocky. Well, my dad's nickname was The Rock or Rocky, so I thought he was going to fight my dad. And I went to my dad and I said, Dad, this actor is going to knock you out. He's going to fight you. My dad said, don't worry about it. I'll beat his head in. But anyway, I was so scared, and my dad was watching him thinking he was going to attack him and all that, but it was Carl Weathers, and then we seen the movie Rocky, and it was like, wow, okay, we got it. All right.
Mike,
thank you.
Thank you, Mike. That is so awesome. Wait, that's my old man? No, Rocky Balboa, which, again, Apollo Creed, that's what I say, top-notch for Carl Weathers. That's number one for me as far as his roles go. I tell you what, CBS going to be after KFGO News. How about that? We'll check in with Rusty Halverson, get your egg-related news. Erica Rapp from FargoUnderground.com. That is next. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page. And send us a text anytime at 35270.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek Hansen, Couch Potato Radio. Did you see that
from It Takes Two.
Doug here with the morning crew this morning.
News Radio.
Amy Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Sports.
Too tall.
Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Access, your host.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
So today on MSUM campus, we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out. Right. And just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. We're going until the food is out. People are coming in.
Partly cloudy sky now and 8 degrees. I'm Paul Jurgens. A man who fled to Mexico after he failed to appear in court on sex crime charges more than 20 years ago in Moorhead will be allowed to post bail. Curtis Brovold is accused of luring a 14-year-old girl by computer and having sex with her at a Moorhead motel. A judge has set bond for Brovold at $250,000 with conditions or $400,000 without conditions. During a court appearance, a prosecutor said Brovold poses significant public safety and flight concerns. If Brovold is able to post bond, he'll have to surrender his passport. Investigators say in early 2000, Brovold communicated with the victim mostly over the Internet for about 6 months. In July of that year, Brovold flew to Moorhead to meet with the teenage victim. Detectives from the Moorhead Police Department and the FBI developed information that Brovold, a former computer technician, was living in Mexico. Brovold was arrested outside his home in Cancun on Wednesday afternoon. University of North Dakota President Andrew Armacost says a draft gender inclusion policy remains a work in progress, and there is no timeline for completing the document. Armacost has again responded to concerns raised by North Dakota Roman Catholic bishops. Armacost says he remains committed to protect all members of the campus community from harassment and discrimination.
This draft policy came as the result of the work of a campus committee, the changes to NDUS policy, and the changes we saw in federal law. Since the public comment period, legislators have raised their concerns, and we have had helpful conversations with them. We have learned a lot about their opinions in these conversations. Each conversation I have about this policy, whether for or against, is useful.
Armacost says several points contained in the Catholic Conference letter were inaccurate, specifically dealing with housing, roommates, and living arrangements on campus. Armacost says some of the comments expressed in the letter have resulted in misinterpretations within the community. The draft policy has also been questioned by Grand Forks Mayor Brandon Bashensky, a UND graduate. 8 degrees. This is KFGO News. Eight degrees, partly cloudy. This is KFGO News. A Foston, Minnesota woman suffered severe burns in an apartment fire in Foston last night. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says Robin Swanson was pulled from the burning apartment by Foston fire crews. They were assisted by the McIntosh Fire Department. 2 apartments were engulfed when first responders got to the scene. Swanson was life-flighted to a hospital. The State Patrol is investigating the traffic death of a 6-year-old girl in central Minnesota. Unique Bolio of Onamia was struck and killed by an SUV on Highway 169 near Onamia. She was on the highway when she was hit. The driver of the SUV was a 48-year-old Garrison, Minnesota woman. Bolio died at the scene. Minnesota is reporting 4 more flu-related deaths over the last week. 16 Minnesotans have died of influenza complications since the flu season began in the fall. There were 7 total deaths all last season. 80 more people were hospitalized with the flu. Outbreaks were reported in 3 schools and 21 nursing homes. Changes are coming for outdoor enthusiasts who plan to visit the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness in northeastern Minnesota.
The U.S. Forest Service announced a cut to the number of people who will be allowed into the BWCA on a daily basis this year. Agency says the number of permits will drop from around 285 per day to 248. That will mean about 23,000 fewer people allowed in over the course of the year. Forest Service says the change comes after complaints about crowding and increased damage to natural resources.
KFGO News correspondent J.W. Cox. Fargo-Moorhead decreasing clouds tonight. We're already seeing that this afternoon. Meteorologist Tom Szymanski is then looking for an overnight low of about 10 below. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Wind picks up out of the south in the afternoon, producing blowing snow and 12. There is a blowing snow tomorrow night. Mostly cloudy, rising temps. Mostly cloudy on Sunday, some blowing snow, 28. Monday, mostly cloudy, 24 the high. And Tuesday, a chance of light snow, 19. Partly cloudy. It's 8. Paul Jurgens, News Radio, KFGO.
It's a lot of shoulder shrugging and head nodding going on in the KFGO studio. I hope it is wherever you got us locked in on 790 AM or 104.7 FM. Rusty Halverson back in the studio.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. Turning it back to 1972 with Looking Glass.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have that one memorized, huh?
Yeah, I had to look it up.
That was a quick look up. Wow. Again, versatile in his knowledge.
Versatile.
So last hour. Sometimes people say that hour felt like a week. We're talking about pig's feet again. Pickled pig's feet.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to sit on the action? What do you got for me this hour?
Well, we're going to kind of turn the page to corn production and a little conversation I had earlier today with Steve Huber. Steve and the Huber family of Berlin, North Dakota, earning the highest non-irrigated placement in the National Corn Growers Association Corn Yield Contest for North Dakota, a yield 299 bushels per acre. Steve says they had some weather challenges this past year, like a lot of folks did, so the results surprised him. But looking ahead to this season, Steve says they're watching input prices just like everybody else and carefully planning what they're going to need for their inputs.
Well, we just, we did some soil testing, kind of seeing what we got to put out there for fertilizer, because we're, going to try to skimp out if we can on any, but, the way it looks is kind of need most of it out there, what we got back so far. But just going to be a lot more cautious, on tillage and that, trying to save moisture unless for some reason it gets real wet right in the springtime. But, we're definitely not going to waste any fuel if we don't have to.
Now, there's about 27 national winners of the National Corn Growers Association Yield Contest. They honor them at Commodity Classic. That's going to be held in March down in New Orleans. And David Hula of Virginia, topping 600 bushels per acre in the contest entry. And it's not like, 5,000 acres of that kind of...
Right, correct.
Yeah.
But...
There's like 17 pages of rules you got to follow to get into the contest.
But I noticed they get to go down to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Going to get in that warm weather climate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, you sunflower growers. You're stuck in Fargo, North Dakota during January.
Yeah, a lot of information, though.
There's a lot of information I didn't gather. Well, congratulations to Steve.
Yeah, Steve Huber, the Huber family. Berlin, North Dakota, southeastern North Dakota.
Very good. Yeah. So markets are closed on Monday. So
that is correct.
I might not see you on Monday.
Yeah, you may see me briefly, but no markets. And at the very least, I intend to put together some reports for the 2022 outlook. We were talking earlier this week, NDSU Extension holding a webinar.
Correct.
And some of the things that they're talking about for the year ahead. So at the very, very least, I will. I'll give you some reports.
I might have some pickled eggs for you when I get Monday.
Really?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't guarantee.
Okay.
I got to find them first.
Okay.
I'm not going to make them. Clearly.
I'll be in the morning for sure.
Okay. Well, what a breakfast I will bring for you then, good sir.
Pickled eggs for breakfast.
Pickled eggs with that coffee?
Yeah.
All right. Rusty, have a good weekend, buddy.
Thank you.
Rusty Halverson, him and Sarah Heinrich, multi-award winning egg journalists, KFGO.com. Just click on that agriculture tab if you can't wait till Monday. I got some CBS National News on the way. And I got $25 in a gift card to the Boiler Room. We'll give you a chance to win that after we visit with Erica Rapp from Fargo Underground. That's next.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page. And send us a text anytime at 35270.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out. And just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just giving the greatest good. When we're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night. Got out of the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11, and volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
So today on MSUM campus, we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Here with another News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek Hansen, Couch Potato Radio. Did you
Gordon
see
from
that
It Takes Two.
Doug here with the morning crew this morning.
Jerkins News Radio.
Katie Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack.
Our friends down at the Boiler Room tell us every week, you tell the good, fine folks of KFGO what's going on in downtown Fargo. And to do that, we rely on FargoUnderground.com. That's where we connect with Erica Rapp. Erica, how you been?
I've been well.
Very good.
Stay warm.
Yeah. Did you get shoveled out from the 3 inches of snow we got?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Very good. Well,
yeah, what blizzard, huh?
Yeah, I know. I've been catching grief for my commentary on some of that all day today, and I'll continue to probably in the last hour. But that means that places are open. People can go out and enjoy themselves because it didn't take a whole lot to dig out.
Right.
So what's going on downtown tonight?
Yeah. So, of course, going into Friday, we've got Friday night trivia with Red River Trivia at Vic's Lounge. This is every Friday at 7 o'clock, so if you miss it tonight, you can come back next Friday. It is general knowledge trivia. It starts at 7 p.m., but you can come early for the happy hour specials. 4 to 7 drinks. Most drinks are $1 off, and they also have hamburger baskets from $4.25 for $4.25 from 4 to 7. So go check that out too.
Cheap.
Their food there is pretty decent. I won't lie.
I've heard. I don't know the last time I've been over to Vic's, and I might have to change that one of these days.
And their trivia is pretty fun. There's a lot of trivia where I feel like if you didn't read the news for the day, you're just kind of screwed. But this is kind of like, I like general knowledge trivia where you can you don't really know what you're going to get, but you could be really good at it. You don't know.
You could just listen to KFGO on Afternoons Live and be caught up on all the news you need to know there, Erica.
That's also true. Great point.
Do that before you go to trivia next time, okay?
Yes.
Don't hold me at fault if you don't do good.
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure you tell all the news, Tyler, so everybody knows.
Okay. What else is going on?
Tonight we've also got the Dead South performing at Sanctuary Event Center. They are a folk bluegrass musical ensemble based out of Canada. It's their Twin Twangler tour, and they are bringing the Rainbow Girls with them. A whole bunch of fun words there. Doors are at 7, show at 8 o'clock. It is 21 plus, and there is a proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test required for entry. So if you're planning on going to that, make sure that you have proof of a vaccination or a negative test.
Well, and I do believe they're from Canada, which I imagine they had to go through some rigorous protocols to even get to Fargo to be at the sanctuary.
And I'm sure it'll be the same going back for them.
Yeah, likely. It sounds to be the case. I have no doubt there.
We've also got Comedy in the Cellar at Front Street Tap Room in the lower level tonight and tomorrow night. Doors at 7:30, show at 8 o'clock. It is 21 plus. Cash only in the basement, but they do have an ATM. The headliner is Matthew Broussard. He has performed on The Tonight Show, Conan. Jeff Ross presents Roast Battles, the Comedy Central Half Hour. He's been on MTV. He's also in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, The League, and he's worked with Billy Crystal and Tiffany Haddish. So this is a big one, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. If you're not really looking to do a whole bunch of outdoor stuff, the comedy shows are always nice, cozy down there, and it's fun to get a lot of laughs in.
You kept going on. I kept becoming more and more impressed with his appearances from to Conan, Jeff Ross, and then The League, which is another one of those shows. When that show was at its peak, boy, was that a great show.
Right, I agree. Going into Saturday, we've got live music at the Troll Lounge from Mike Holtz. He's been a longtime fixture of the FM music scene, kind of a deep rock, folk, country solo artist. That will start at 7 tomorrow night. But, of course, the Troll Lounge always has a happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. with $1 off drinks. And I think I said this last week, too, but if you haven't heard by now, the Troll Lounge, the Sons of Norway has always had food, but the Troll Lounge specifically has launched their own little bar menu with burgers, chicken tender baskets, the whole, classic bar food menu style. But I think the Troll Lounge has really been up and coming. They've got bluegrass nights and live music nights and comedy nights and trivia and a whole bunch of stuff going on. So if you have not been down to the Troll Lounge, it's fun, it's cozy, there's trolls, and you can drink dill aquavit, which is surprisingly very tasty.
There is a listener that every week when I've got the meat dude on Thursdays asks me about aquavit. So I'm guessing it's a Troll Lounge patron. So I'm glad to know that I can at least direct them to the Troll Lounge if they have not been there yet.
Yes. They do have a good selection of aquavit, but the dill one specifically, if anybody's listening, go check it out.
We've been on a dill and kind of a pickle kick all week here, so you've got my attention.
Yes, it's fantastic. Anyway, also on Saturday, we've got the Drag Review with FM Drag United. If you're in the mood for a good drag show, go to the downtown VFW. On their lower level, they've got a nice venue and a second bar set up there. The show's going to start at 9 o'clock. Doors are at 8. It's only $10, and it is 21 plus. There's also going to be live music from Low Standards at Dempsey's tomorrow night, starting at 10 o'clock. They are a 90s and 2000s cover band and original pop punk band. They are very fun to watch. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I have. They put on a good show. A lot of fun. A lot of songs I think people our age certainly grew up with, so maybe that adds to it.
Absolutely. And then going into Sunday, we've got another DJ brunch at 701 at the Prairie Kitchen. The Prairie Kitchen is the lower level if you've not been there yet. Jay Melby will be on the turntables with spinning some groovy tunes while you can eat to enjoy specialty cocktails and delicious eats. That'll be from noon to 2 p.m. And that's it for this weekend, but I do want to note that Frostival is starting this weekend. It starts tomorrow. A lot of the events are outside of downtown, but over the course of the next month and a half or so, it goes until February 26th. There's going to be events all over the city, including downtown, that are celebrating Frostival. And if you've never been to a Frostival event, it's a really cool way for our city to embrace the cold and just, we live here, so we might as well do something fun in it,
Yeah. Yep. And every year it seems like it's gotten just a little bit bigger.
It is.
Yeah.
When I actually looked at the dates, I'm like, holy cow, this is over. It started as a week thing, and then it was 2 weeks, and then it's a month, and now it's like a month and a half. So there really is something for everybody, for all ages at Frostival. So go out and support your community. And I don't know, do a cardboard sled race. There's snow yoga, snow volleyball, kickball. There's, a snow ice competition, s'mores competitions. There's just really everything. It's so fun.
We'll have to break down more of those in the week ahead. I'm going to let you go, Erica. Anything else before I do, though?
Nope, that's it. If you missed anything, you can go to fargounderground.com or keep updated with our Facebook page.
I always appreciate it. You take care. We'll chat again next week, all right?
Thank you. Yep.
You bet. Erica Rapp, FargoUnderground.com. They are the ones we rely on for all your downtown Fargo-Moorhead happening. But that segment is brought to you by the Boiler Room, and you can find them in downtown Fargo. And in fact, I hope you get the Scotch eggs, or if you're there on Sunday, the Mimosa Flight that I've heard so much about. If you're already calling in, here's what I'm doing. I want caller number 8 at 237-5948. Then you get the $25 and a gift card to the Boiler Room. Caller number 8 to 237-5948. This $25 is yours. In the meantime, here's some Too Tall Tom Szymanski accurate forecast for you, and then we'll wrap up hour number 2 of Afternoons Live next.
So today on MSUM campus, we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Here with another News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek
Mighty
Hansen, Couch
790.
Potato Radio. Did
JJ
you
Gordon
see
from
that?
It Takes Two.
Doug here with the morning crew this morning.
News Radio.
Amy Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Force.
Too Tall Tom
Joel
Schman.
Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Axis, your host.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page, and send us a text anytime at 35270.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out, and just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. We're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night. Got out of the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11, and volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
Just kind of want to let this one ride us into the sunset of 4 o'clock. Edison Lighthouse, by request. Boy, a lot of you are thirsty for that $25 gift card to the Boiler Room. Couldn't keep you off the phone lines. Jason, I believe, was our winner.
Jason W. was our winner.
Jason W.
And had
Scotch eggs, man. That's what you need. Scotch eggs.
And had a one-hit wonder request that is going to cut deep on some of our listeners, myself included.
So get the box of Kleenex ready?
Yeah, great song, but holy moly.
What a way to close out a week. Thanks, Jason. Congratulations, but thanks. 237-594. That's Laney's studio line. iConsultants of North Dakota. That is at 35270. Tyler, with all the COVID cases, I wonder if, I think schools wanted to close for the weekend. Somebody else did echo that sentiment as well, because you're going to have now a 4-day break. And if you checked out anything with the North Dakota Department of Health, things are not ideal when it comes to cases in North Dakota. So did that play a factor? I have no idea. I just know that they canceled classes in Fargo, I think, well before they needed to. And that's something I've repeated. So I tell you what, the last hour of the show, you won't hear that from me. Not intentionally, unless it just happens to get brought up again. What we are going to do in this last hour, though, we got Scott Brewer, part of that fantastic duo of Gone Outdoors. You can catch them live on location tomorrow, but we're going to talk about ice conditions because I know it's spotty out there depending on what part of the KFGO listening region you're on. We'll get an update on just what he's got coming up, him and Kyle Agri on the show tomorrow. Also, the return of Third and Goal. We haven't done that in like another couple of months, so we'll do that to get you into that 5 o'clock punch-out. I'm Tyler Axidus. He's Eric Johnson, our producer. We're going to be with you for another hour here. One more thing in this last hour. I believe these tickets are for tomorrow. I better check before I tell you it is. Saturday, January 50th. Yeah, that is tomorrow. WWE, they sponsored our show last Friday. I've got some tickets to get from us to you so you can go to the Fargo Dome and watch some wrestling tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. You got locked into KFGO Fargo.
Roberson here with another News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek Hansen, Couch Potato Radio.
Did you see that? It Takes Two.
Doug here with the morning crew this morning.
News Radio.
Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Force.
Too tall,
Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Axis, your host.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out, and just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. We're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night, the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11, and volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page, and send us a text anytime at 35270.
So today on MSUM campus, we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
Couple hours closer to our couple of days off on Afternoons Live. Thanks for keeping it locked in to 790 AM and 104.7 FM, or watching us worldwide, KFGO.com, YouTube as well. Here's what's coming up. I'm glad nobody called during the sounder, because you called after I just even mentioned that we had WWE tickets. Listen for the sounder and then call 237-594. That's coming up between now and 5 o'clock. Also between now and 5 o'clock, Scott Brewer, part of that Gone Outdoors duo. He's coming up after we check in with Paul Jiggins on that KFGO News Center. Also, the return momentarily of the third and goal. I haven't done that in a while, so we'll have a little bit of fun to get you that 5 o'clock punch out together right here on Afternoons Live. Stick around.
KFGO News, partly cloudy, Fargo-Moorhead, 8 degrees. I'm Paul Jerkins. A man who left the country after he was charged with sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl in Moorhead 21 years ago is in the Clay County Jail after his arrest outside his home in Cancun, Mexico this week. 67-year-old Curtis Brovold will be allowed to post bond of either $250,000 with conditions or $400,000 without restrictions. He would be forced to give up his passport. Brovold was arrested by the FBI. Prosecutors say he met the victim online and flew to Moorhead, where he had sex with a girl at a motel. A 17-year-old boy has been charged with sexual misconduct in a case that led to the cancellation of the high school football season in Proctor in northeastern Minnesota. The St. Louis County Attorney's Office says the boy is accused of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old teammate with the handle of a toilet plunger. The charges say it happened following a team practice last September. Other teammates are accused of holding the victim down, but they have not been charged. The boy is charged in juvenile court, but the county attorney is asking that the case be transferred to adult court. The head football coach was placed on paid leave. His resignation is effective at the end of the school year. The president of the University of North Dakota is again defending the school's draft gender inclusion policy. Andy Armacost says the intent is to align the school with existing federal and state laws and policies to better protect LGBTQ students from harassment and discrimination. Armacost's presentation came after widespread criticism from state lawmakers, North Dakota's 2 Roman Catholic bishops, and Grand Forks Mayor Brandon Brzezinski. The policy, as written, would require the use of a transgender person's preferred pronouns and the use of locker rooms, bathrooms, and other living arrangements that align with a person's gender identity. As Omicron cases sweep North Dakota, state health officials say flu cases have also taken off. Kirby Krugers, the section chief of disease control and forensic pathology at the Department of Health.
We are seeing a rapid increase in influenza in North Dakota. Cases have come down in the last couple weeks, but they're still high. And this last week, we had 1,131 new influenza cases reported. That brings our season total just over 6,600.
Last week, there were 35 hospitalizations for flu, bringing the seasonal total to 133. There was one more flu-related death over the last week. A total of 8 people in North Dakota have died since the flu season began this season. Most of the cases thus far have been type A influenza. Fargo-Moorhead, we're seeing a clearing sky this afternoon. We'll continue to see decreasing cloudiness tonight, wind tapering off. And meteorologist Tom Szymanski is expecting an overnight low of about 10 below zero. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Wind picks up out of the south in the afternoon. That'll produce some blowing snow, high of 12. Tomorrow night, areas of blowing snow, mostly cloudy, and then temps rising. Sunday, mostly cloudy, blowing snow, 28. 24, the high on Monday, mostly cloudy. Tuesday, a chance of light snow, and 19. At our KFGO studios, our total snowfall accumulation was about 2.6 inches of snow. Fargo-Moorhead, partly cloudy, it's 6. Make that 8 degrees, 8 above. Paul Jerkins, News Radio, KFGO.
KFGO time is 4:10, and it is Friday, so as is tradition, we let you pick the bump songs, including The Darkness, I believe in a thing called Love. I believe that it's a chance to get outdoors this weekend when I look at the forecast, and here to tell you all about that and what's coming up on Gone Outdoors, live on location tomorrow with Scott Brewer, part of that fantastic duo. Scott, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I am pretty darn happy that we didn't get the snow forecasted that we were supposed to get, and it's actually pretty darn nice out right now.
I did peer out the window on that CBS News break and see that the sun is shining, and it's kind of a sight to behold. It lifted spirits almost instantly, just the fact that the sun's out, Scott.
Yeah, it certainly did, and even though it's, 6 or 7 degrees right now, which is pretty darn cold in most people's book, for those of us in the Fargo-Moorhead area, 6 or 7 degrees is still pretty darn nice after the weather that we've had lately. It's not 25 below. It's not 20 below. It's positive temperatures, and the sun is shining.
Yep.
And it's not snowing.
You can't ask for
it's a good day.
Yeah, I can't ask for a better combination on January 14th in North Dakota, Minnesota. That's where we'll put that. Scott, earlier this week, this was prompted by listeners of the program here, texting into our iConsultants of North Dakota text club, 35270 if you want to join the conversation. But they were saying, what's the ice conditions out there? And that individual, and I don't mean to throw the community back under the bus, but they said, because they're hearing, for example, Ottertail, the ice conditions weren't ideal there. We did visit with Kyle just a little bit. Yesterday, I had Tanner Turney from Devil's Lake Tourism on. He's saying, look, Devil's Lake's doing quite well when it comes to making ice here. But what are you hearing? What are you seeing while you're out there over the last few weeks as far as what the ice conditions are?
As far as the ice itself, most lakes, the ice is pretty darn good. We had some pretty cold weather, which created some good ice before we got snow. Before it got that weight on it and turned it slushy. We didn't have a lot of melting once that ice started. So the ice itself, for the most part, is really good. Where the problem can arise in some areas, well, every area has a lot of snow cover. Most everybody that's listening to this show right now, there's snow on your lakes, quite a bit of it. Which creates travel problems. Does that create ice problems? Not necessarily. It can. It can create slush pockets, and those slush pockets are out there. So you got to be careful when you're getting around the lake, however you're getting around. But the ice itself is really good, which is a blessing. We have a lot of years that we don't have that, where we'll have kind of crappy ice, so to speak, and then you get snow on top of that, and it doesn't help any. Then we don't get good ice until March.
Yeah.
But right now we got good ice. We got a lot of snow. The people I feel sorry for right now are the ones that saved up a lot of money and bought themselves a really nice four-wheeler to use for deer hunting and summer use and for ice fishing. And because if you got a four-wheeler with wheels right now, they don't work all that well because there's so much snow cover on most of the lakes.
Yeah,
you almost have to have tracks.
Yeah. Well, and that's a whole other financial decision that we'll leave up to them individually. Because when we were out at the ice fishing show, I saw some of those tracks and what they can run. But by all means, if you can go out there and do that. I did have another individual, and I'll get your thoughts on this, saying, "Hey, Tyler, in the Valley City area, we went out and we drilled a couple of holes and water came out probably about 1 to 2 inches, adding to the kind of gross conditions, I guess, on that part." Are you hearing much about that as well? Because I imagine that's just so much of the pressure that's finally being released once you get that hole drilled.
Yep. And you have those situations, especially if you're in a hard house of some type, whether you're out there with your glacier or your ice castle or whatever it is. You put even more weight on it because you got your truck there and you have your hard house. For people that are just out fishing in portables, you don't see that nearly as often, but it does happen. And generally, when that does happen, you can move a little bit, then you can find a spot where you're not going to have that issue. But every lake is different. A lot of the bigger lakes get a little bit more wind on them, so they get a little less snow cover. But that's not the case in every situation. So no matter what, you got to be careful when you get out there, and you got to pay attention to what you're doing. If you can go out with somebody that's got plowed roads, that's ideally the best way to go, because you can see where the road is. You can see if there's any slush. You're not going to plow roads through a slush spot. And that's the best way to do it. But anybody that goes out uses a plowed road, just be respectful of that. Don't drill holes in the road or next to the road. Don't set up right next to the road. Try and get off the road a little bit when you set up. But that way everybody can play nice.
Yeah, be a good neighbor. That's what we want to advise of you. So, Scott, how's the fishing been? Have you had a chance to get out much lately? Are they biting out there in the neighborhood?
I've been out a little bit. We're going to be getting out a lot more here as the winter progresses, but fishing has been pretty good from what we've seen and from what we've heard. Pretty much all species fishing has been pretty good. Walleye bite is good, which I would assume is going to start dwindling a little bit come midwinter. The walleye bite tends to slow down a little bit, turn even more into the early morning, late evening, which a lot of winter time it's an early morning, late evening bite or throughout the night, and that's going to become even more evident as the winter progresses. The panfish bite is really good. Sunfish are just going gangbusters. A crappie bite is pretty good depending on where you go. The fish are really concentrated on those basins now, so they're a little bit easier to find. Northerns are fun. Even a lot of guys go out and target bass or go out and try and target anything, which is a lot of people do in the wintertime. You just go out and don't necessarily fish for a particular species. Just go out and see what you can catch.
Yeah, go drop that line. Watch the.
Yep.
Scott Brewer, our guest, part of Gone Outdoors. You got Gone Outdoors, and you're live on location tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Where are you going to be, and what can people expect on the show?
We're going to be at Adventure RV in West Fargo from 11 to 12. We're doing our show live. We're going to chat with Mike Bowe a lot. Mike is a general manager there. We'll talk about his sale. He's got a big sale going on right now. The heat is on sale. They got over 25 units that'll be heated so that you can come in and look. Right now there's two types of people in the upper Midwest. Those that are happy that it's cold so they can go ice fishing, and those that are waiting for summer. Yeah. And everybody falls into one of those two categories.
Correct.
At Adventure RV, they have it all because they have glacier fish houses there for those of you that are happy it's winter. And then they got lots and lots of towable RVs. If you want to go look at something, if you're planning on maybe making a purchase sometime in the next year, 2 years, even 3 or 4 years down the road, you might want to start looking at it now because RVs are a big purchase. And that way you can start kind of figuring out the things that you like and what you don't like, so that when you are ready to make that purchase, you kind of have a little bit better idea what you're doing. But this is a great weekend to do it. If you're looking at an RV, it's a great weekend to do it because if you're a summertime person, instead of sitting in the house, head over to Adventure RV tomorrow morning and come say hi, visit with us for a little bit, and look at some of these RVs and think about some warmer days that are going to be coming up this summer.
Yeah, and as somebody that bought an RV a couple of years ago, you got to go see it firsthand. You got to walk through. You got to put your hands on it. You got to figure out what you like in there. There's such a big variety as far as floor plans, and I know that being over at Adventure RV, they've been great as far as service goes, all of the above. So tomorrow you can go and join Scott Brewer, Kyle Eggery, Gone Outdoors, 11 o'clock. Scott, I appreciate your time as always, my friend. We'll chat again soon.
Stay warm, sir. And when you see that sunshine, and go out and get a little bit of it. None of us get enough sunshine this time of year.
I can attest for that, my man. I'll talk to you soon. You take care, Scott.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Scott Brewer, Kyle Eggery, Gone Outdoors every Saturday. You can catch them right here on KFGO. 35270. That's the Eye Consultants of North Dakota Text Club. Of course, you could call us on the Laney's studio line at 237-5948. We're inching closer to that 5 o'clock punch out right around the corner. Stay with us.
Abby Halverson here with another Don News Radio.
Hey, this is Abby Miller with the
Derek
Mighty
Hansen, Couch
790.
Potato Radio. Did
JJ
you
Gordon
see
from
that
It
game?
Takes Two.
Doug
Miller
with the morning crew this morning.
News Radio.
Katie Eiler with It Takes Two.
This is Jack Michaels, Voices Force.
Too tall,
Joel Heitkamp here on the Mighty
Sarah Heinrich.
Tyler Axis, your host.
The Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. The names you know, the voices you trust.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out. And just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. We're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night, the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, caring. And that's what this is. That's the way I see it. Very helpful. I think it's going to be very helpful because I know people that are doing without.
I think it's truly remarkable how much need there is out there. Like I said, we were going to start at noon, but we had so many people lined up. We started at 11, and volunteers have been working their tail off since then. I'm thankful for that. I think this shows that there is some huge needs in the community, and we got some things we got to address.
Thanks for watching News and Views on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page, and send us a text anytime at 35270.
So today on MSUM campus we're doing an ice jam, which is we're combining a bunch of percussion instruments with ice instruments, which are also going to be used in a percussive form. We're going to hit them with mallets, hammers, all those types of things. Today is all improv, so we're all just kind of working with ideas that we just kind of think of as we go, and we kind of play off each other, and it's fun to collaborate but also have a sense of independence.
You just heard the WWE Sounder. Final pair of tickets that we've got are yours if you call us at 237-5948. In the meantime, by request, we got some autograph. Turn up the radio. One hit wonder. Yeah, I'll go to that concert. We're going to let it build. We're getting there. Then he turns it down on me. He's on the phone giving you tickets. Okay, I'll get to work now. Thanks for picking all these great songs today. Some of our friends of the show definitely trying to double dip as well. I see you down there in the Wahpeton area texting in a lot of songs, almost putting together an entire show sheet for a concert of One Hit Wonders. But it's been fun today. I congratulate whoever's on the phone with Eric right now because they're going up to watch some wrestling. That's going to be at the Fargo Dome, which has been a few years since I think they've been in the area. I remember back at the height of like the Attitude Era, wouldn't miss it. I remember the Alara Center. I remember watching, I think it was WCW in the Fargo Dome. But boy, when WWF at the time was up at, I think it was SmackDown, which was their Thursday show, up at the Alaris. My boy Stone Cold. That was so much fun. That era of wrestling, when you had both the WCW and WWF at that time, at the height, to where on Monday night you would have to have the remote right in your hand. God, those were the good old days.
The Wolfpack and NWA. Or NWO.
NWO, yeah.
Yep.
No, NWA is from California.
Yeah,
they sing songs.
They've got some good songs, but we can't play them on.
No, we cannot. This is a family-friendly show.
Carl and Mike each won themselves a pair of tickets to the show tomorrow.
Congratulations, Carl and Mike. Bring a friend to go watch some wrestling. That's going to be tomorrow at the Fargo Dome. I want to thank WWE for sponsoring last week's show while we're down in Frisco as well. Had a great time down there. We're going to have a great last half hour of the show for this week as well. I'll get you caught up with KFGO News. Paul Jurgens will get you all the latest here. Third and goal. We haven't done that in, forever? We'll try to see if we still have it when we come back. I'm Tyler Axtis, your host. Eric Johnson, he is our producer. We got another half hour with you on the Friday edition of Afternoons Live. Stay with us.
Well, we're doing a food giveaway event to the community. A lot of people are facing food insecurity at this time. As we can tell, we had to start about an hour early because we just had so many people lined up. So as people come up and they need whatever they need, volunteers are taking care of it. It's all contactless, so nobody has to get out. And just making sure whatever the greatest need. We're just getting the greatest good. When we're going until the food is out. As people are coming in, if they need 2 boxes and 2 gallons of milk, that's what we're giving. We don't want to leave anybody out.
I was in the hospital, and I saw a flyer on the wall. And all the nurses were talking about taking people down there to get food and stuff. I got out last night. Got out of the hospital last night, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. When I came from Williston here, I lived on these streets for 3 years, carrying